Good day. Today we will be moving on the subject of soil science, particularly on the topic of soil formation and development. So pag-uusapan natin, saan nga ba galing ang soil and paano nga ba ito na-form and what is the process that this materials that comes from soil is being developed. So we all know, for instance, that soil comes from rocks. Pero ano nga ba yung proseso that turns rocks into soil? So we call that process weathering. So over time, through the process of weathering, kung saan nagbe-breakdown yung rock, kung saan nagdi-disintegrate siya, it now forms our soil. So therefore, kung ang rock mo ay galing sa soil, mahalaga na maintindihan din natin kung ano ba ang rocks and what are the different classifications of rocks so that we can better understand what soil is. So what is a rock? If your soil comes from rock, your rock naman comes from an aggregate of minerals. Okay? Now your rocks, they are formed on the earth's surface and they are the foundation of your soil. But rocks are also formed from an aggregate of one or more minerals. Claro? So what are the different classifications of rocks? We have three. We have igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. Now, when your rock is formed through the solidification of molten magma, sumabog yung bulkan, nagpalabas ng magma, tumigas yung magma na yon, then that is what we call as igneous rocks. Kapag naman yung mga different types of rocks or rock parts, no, or rock materials, nagdikit-dikit sila, ang tawag mo naman doon, sedimentary rocks. Now, sedimentary rocks, they are usually found on bodies of water, such as your seas, lakes, and oceans. Now, there's also this third type of rock, kung saan yung igneous mo and sedimentary rocks mo, through heat and pressure, will be transformed. Ang tawag mo naman doon, metamorphic rocks. So, ang metamorphic rocks mo is galing yan sa igneous and sedimentary rocks through the process of extreme heat and pressure. Now, for us to better understand this, maganda siguro na magkaroon tayo ng visual example of these three classifications of rocks. Tama? So we have igneous rocks. Igneous rocks, examples natin dyan would be andesite, basalt, diorite, dolerite, gabbro, different types of granite, kimberlite, different types of obsidian, pegmatite, pumice, and rhyolite. Sedimentary rocks naman, kung makapansin natin, di ba? Para lang siyang mga nagdikit-dikit na bato. Like for example, itong ating conglomerate and breccia. So different kinds of rocks or rock materials na nagdikit-dikit, they form sedimentary rocks. So other examples of sedimentary rocks would be your sandstone, shale, siltstone, and mudstone. Now, dako naman tayo sa metamorphic rocks. Now, through heat and pressure, your igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks will turn into metamorphic rocks. For example, yung iyong granite can turn into gneiss. Yung shale can turn into a slate. Yung sandstone, through heat and pressure, can turn into a quartzite. Now, for the other examples of metamorphic rocks coming from igneous and sedimentary rocks, i-search nyo na lang yan sa internet. Marami kayong makikitang resources doon and may visual depiction pa doon sa kanilang transformation from igneous and sedimentary going to metamorphic. Now we're done talking about rocks. And nasabi natin kanina that rocks are formed from, diba? Rocks consist of what? They are consist of minerals. So it is also important for us not just to talk about rocks, but to talk about minerals with regards to the process of soil formation. Tama? Tama. So what are minerals naman? Minerals, they are basically naturally occurring inorganic substances. So inorganic siya with defined chemical composition. So ang minerals mo, they are inorganic substances na may sariling chemical composition. So pwede natin may mga formula may formula involved, say, in describing a particular mineral. Now, medyo chemistry na yan, so hindi na natin masyadong pupuntahan yan for now. But one of the things that you need to understand is that minerals, there are two types of minerals. We have primary and we have secondary. And basically, parang parehas lang siya dun sa types of rocks na nabanggit natin kanina. Kapag sinabi natin ang mineral mo ay primary, ito yung mga minerals that forms during the initial crystallization or solidification of your molten lava or your magma. Okay? So kapag tumigas yung magma na yan, yung minerals na na-form doon is called your primary minerals. Anong mga example? Quartz, feldspar, and mica. Through the process of weathering, itong primary minerals na to ay na-break down, it turns now into secondary minerals. An example are clay minerals, iron, and oxides. So ulitin ko, yung magma natin, tumigas, yung mineral na na-form doon, primary minerals. Through the process of weathering, na-alter yung primary minerals mo, na-transform siya, ang tawag mo naman doon ay secondary minerals. So ganun lang, as easy as that, yung explanation. Now, we have mentioned that soils comes from the weathering of rocks. Therefore, it's important for us to understand, ano pa kasi yung weathering process? Ano ba yun? Kapag sinabi nating weathering, ano ba yung tinutumbok natin? Well, basically, weathering is the breakdown of rocks into smaller particles. So this integration of rocks para maging soil. Kasi ang rock, napakalaki yan. Ay ang soil, napakapino. Tama? So yung process ng itong malaking material na to, yung bato na to, ay napapaliit into soil. That is your weathering. So basically, it's the breaking down of rocks or the disintegration of rocks. And there are two kinds of weathering. First off, we have physical weathering. Physical weathering, also called as mechanical weathering, ang tinitignan lang natin dyan is yung physical breakdown ng bato into smaller chunks or fragments without change in their chemical composition. So physical lang, yun lang yung nagbabago. Nagbe-break lang yung malalaking bato into smaller pieces, then that's physical weathering. Anong mga different example? We have freeze-thaw, some biological activities, and exfoliation. When we say freeze or thaw, doon sa, for example, yung bato mo, meron siyang mga cracks, umulan ngayon. Nung umulan, yung tubig pumasok doon sa mga cracks ng mga bato mo. Eh di biglang lumamig. So what happened? Nag-expand yung water. So doon sa pag-expand ng water, na-break yung rock natin, then that process is called freeze and thaw. We can also physically weather rocks through biological activities. Like for example, yung root ng halaman, pumasok doon sa crack ng bato, brinake nyo yung bato, then that's a physical weathering. Exfoliation is another example. Kung saan yung top layer of your rocks, they peel away due to temperature fluctuations, leading to expansion and contraction of the rock surface, then nag-break siya, then that's also an example of physical weathering. Nadako naman tayo sa chemical weathering. Kung ang physical weathering is simply the physical transformation of your rock from a big piece going into a smaller piece, ang chemical weathering mo naman is a weathering that alters yung chemical composition ng minerals within the rocks. Okay? Or it alters the chemical composition of your rocks. So for example, nagkaroon ng chemical reaction that transforms yung minerals mo into new compounds, then that is a chemical weathering. Ano yung mga different general types of chemical weathering? One is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis is basically yung tubig na galing sa external environment or galing sa atmosphere natin, nag-react sa minerals na nandun sa bato mo, then that's called your hydrolysis. Dissolution naman, kapag yung minerals mo is dissolved into the water. So, nagkukos rin yan ng chemical weathering. So, yun yung pagkakaiba ha. Hydrolysis is your water reacts to your minerals. That's hydrolysis. Water reacts to minerals. Dissolution naman, your minerals dissolved into the water. Okay? So, klaro yun. Ang oxidation naman is when your oxygen reacts to your minerals to form different oxide groups. So, hydrolysis, water reacts to minerals. Hydrolysis. Oxygen reacts to minerals naman, you call that as oxidation. Okay? What are the different factors now that affects soil formation? Kasi we have already talked about rocks, we have already talked about minerals, we have already talked about weathering. Now, pag-uusapan naman natin, ano-ano ba yung mga different factors that actually affects yung development and formation ng soil. And meron tayong acronym dyan para mas madaling i-memorize. We have CLORT. So, dako tayo sa una. Number 1 would be climate. Particularly, we're talking about precipitation or yung pagulan and temperature. So, unahin natin yung precipitation. Kapag yung area mo ay madalas inuulan, mas intense yung weathering and leaching doon sa area na yon, it can actually form deeper soils with more distinct horizons. So kapag yung area mas madalas maulan, mas nagmamature yung soil sa area na yan. Conversely, on the other hand, kapag yung area mo is medyo dry, hindi masyadong nauulanan, mas mabagal naman ang soil development sa mga area na to. And it can also accumulate salts doon sa soil. Now, in terms of temperature, kapag kapag mas mataas yung temperature doon sa area na yon, it can accelerate different chemical reactions and therefore creating a faster soil development process. Now, kapag mas malamig yung area na yon, it can slow down yung chemical weathering, but it can enhance physical weathering such as yung ating freeze-thaw cycle na nabanggit natin kanina. Okay? So, precipitation, kapag mas nauulan, mas mabilis ang soil formation. Kapag mas mababa ang pag-ulan, mas mabagal ang soil formation. In terms of temperature, kapag mas mataas ang temperature, mas mabilis ang chemical weathering. Kapag naman mas malamig yung lugar na yon, mabagal ang chemical weathering pero mas mabilis ang physical weathering. What are the other factors? So we now move with O, organisms. So yung organisms natin, it can also affect soil development pala. Yes, certainly. Like for example, yung ating plants. Plants, it can add organic matter to the soil. For example, yung halaman mo, yung dahon ng halaman mo nalagas, pumunta sa soil, it can enhance yung organic matter na nasa soil. Tama? At the same time, yung roots ng halaman mo, it can interact with the soil and even can break down small rocks within the soil. So that's vegetation affecting, so that's your plant affecting your soil formation. Microbes and soil animals can also affect yung soil formation natin. Kasi microorganisms, they decompose organic matter to release nutrients back into the soil. Whereas soil animals naman, like yung earthworm mo, dahil habitat nila yung soil, they mix the soil and improve its soil erosion, soil erosion and drainage, creating a more favorable environment for your plant and other microbial activity. So yan naman ang effect ng organism sa soil development. Let's go with R. R means relief or topography or yung position in the landscape of the soil. So let's talk about, we will be talking about slope, elevation, elevation, and drainage patterns. So kapag yung lupa mo ay meron siyang, say, drainage, A-G-E. Kapag yung lupa mo, let's say, let's go with slope, steeper, so mas matarik siya, often, yung mga soils na makikita mo dyan, mas maninipis. Bakit? Because of erosion. Kasi kapag steeper yung lupa mo, mas mabilis yan mag-erode. So, hindi nagmamature agad yung lupa. Mas mabagal ang soil formation sa mga areas kung saan ang slope ay steep. Kapag naman ang area mo is flatter, dahil nag-accumulate yan ng more soils and other organic matter, mas mabilis ngayon ang soil formation sa mga area na yon. Okay, so in terms of slope, kapag steep yung area, mas mabagal ang soil formation. Kapag flatter yung area, mas mabilis ang soil development or soil formation. Now, in terms of elevation, ang nakaka-apekto naman dyan is, di ba alam natin, for instance, dito sa dito sa Pilipinas at sa ibang lugar rin naman, kapag yung lugar ay mas mataas, iba yung climate doon as compared doon sa lugar na mas mababa, right? So elevation now talks about the effect of relief doon sa soil formation in relation also to climate. So iba kasi yung climate conditions kapag nasa mas mataas na lugar yung lupa and iba yung climate conditions kapag nasa mas mababang lugar siya. At the same time, yung direction ng lupa kung saan yung direction ng lupa kung natatamaan ba siya ng araw or hindi also affects soil formation. O, drainage patterns naman. Yung mga areas na mabababa, they collect more water and sediments. Therefore, nagpo-promote sila ng thicker and more fertile soils. On the contrary, kapag yung area mo is well-drained, so mabilis maalis yung tubig, nagli-leach yung mga minerals from that area, ang soil development mo may be slower. So that's relief or topography affecting soil formation. We also have parent material. Okay, ano ba yung parent material? Parent material is the original material from which your soil develops. Right? So, makikita natin yan doon sa ating soil profile. Right? Yung pinakababa, which is your sum point, yung pinakababa, which is your sum point composed of your bedrock, is also composed of your parent material. Saan ba nanggagaling yung lupa mo? And there are two kinds of parent material. We have geological or inorganic parent material and organic parent material. So, ang inorganic parent material natin, with the term inorganic, we're only talking about the minerals, sa inorganic parent material natin, ang titingnan lang natin dyan is yung mineral component ng parent material. Or basically, the parent material that provides yung mineral component ng ating soil. Whereas yung organic parent materials naman natin is yung parent material that provides the organic materials that you find in soil. So for example, inorganic materials, meron din tayong two types dyan. Meron tayong tinatawag na residual parent materials and transported parent material. Now, kapag yung soil mo is formed from the parent material na nandun nga from time immemorial, ang tawag mo dun, residual parent material. Kapag naman yung soil mo is formed from the parent material na dayo galing sa ibang lugar, ang tawag mo dun, transported parent material. So yun yung pagkakaiba nila. Yung residual parent material, yung parent material na yun, nandun na, matagal na, from time immemorial, and then it formed soil. Yung transported material mo, galing siya sa ibang lugar, for some reason, na-transport siya doon sa lugar kung saan nag-form ng soil, and that's your transported parent material. So, tatanungin nyo sa akin, ay sir, yung mga parent materials pala, nagtatransport sila? Yes. Paano? Paano sila gumagalaw? Well, they can be transported via wind, via water, ice, gravity, etc. For example, kapag yung parent material mo is being transported through the rivers, ang tawag mo sa parent material na yon is alluvium. Diba? Kapag yung parent material mo naman is being transported through gravity, anong tawag naman sa parent material na yon? Ang tawag mo naman sa parent material na yon is collovium. Right? So for the other types of parent material, I would leave that task on you. Kayong mag-research. Ano nga ba yung mga different types of transported inorganic parent materials in terms of the media kung saan sila na-transport. Okay? Last na factor sa soil formation is time. Right? Kasi ang ating soil naman ay hindi lang basta-basta nagiging soil yan. From the rock, nagiging soil. It takes duration. It takes lengths of duration of time in order for the process of soil formation to occur. And more than likely, yung time, kasama na din dyan yung different factors na napag-usapan natin kanina lang, such as your climate, topography, organisms, and parent material. Now, one of the ways that we can also look at soil formation is through the lens of soil sequence. Basically, soil sequence is understanding soil development over time through one specific understanding soil development over time, which of course highlights yung differences in soil properties under similar condition except for one particular variable. So sa soil sequence, tinitignan natin dyan yung pagkakaiba ng mga lupa over time wherein all the factors are the same except for one variable. So one variable yung nagkakaiba. So for example, sa Catenas, we are looking at soil formation. We are looking at soil formation under similar condition except for slope or relief or topography. Catenas yun. Ang tawag mo sa soil sequence na yon. Ang chronosequence naman, similar conditions except for time. From the word chrono. Lithosequence, we're looking at the differences in soil under similar condition except for, ano kaya pag lithosequence? Except for parent material. Ang climosequence naman, we're looking at the soil, we're looking at the differences in soil under similar conditions except for climate naman. And biosequence, of course, differences in soil except for yung organism na factor natin. So that's also one way to see or to observe the different factors in soil formation. Okay? So pag Catenas, we're talking about relief topography, chronosequence, time, lithosequence, parent material, climosequence, climate, and biosequence, organism. All other things held constant. Di ba? Nagamit ko yung economic term na yon. Now, we will end this presentation by discussing to you the basic processes in soil formation. We have 4: transformation, translocation, additions, and losses. So, madali lang siya intindihin. Kapag sinabi mong transformation, it is basically the process of soil formation wherein it includes yung transformation of your primary minerals going to form secondary minerals until it forms your soil. Or yung organic matter mo forming into humus. So that's transformation. So nagkakaroon ng physical and chemical change yung soil, and that process is called transformation. Now, paano naman itong translocation? What is the process of translocation in soil formation naman? Well, translocation refers to yung movement ng soil materials from one horizon to another, or probably from one area to another. That's translocation. Kasi for example, nabanggit natin during our discussion in soil profile that leaching of minerals from the upper to lower horizons can actually lead to soil formation. So that in itself, the process wherein nagkakaroon ng leaching of minerals from the upper to the lower horizon is called translocation, and it can contribute to soil formation. Additions naman, well, basically, with the word add, nagkakaroon ng input doon sa soil from external sources. So, for example, accumulation of organic materials from plant and animal remains. So, yung lupa mo, dahil natamnan siya ng halaman, naglagas yung dahon ng halaman, nalagyan ng organic matter yung soil, that's a form of addition. May dumaan na aso doon sa lupa na yun, tumae siya. Diba? Nagkaroon ng additional na organic matter yung soil mo, that's addition. Umulan, let's say umulan, tapos doon sa ulan na yon, mayroon siyang dinalang minerals from other parts to that part of your soil, then that's addition. Opposite siya, of course, doon sa process ng loss. Kasi sa loss naman is removal of soil materials due to processes like erosion, leaching, and volatilization. Ano ba kasi ang erosion? Erosion is basically the physical removal of your topsoil. So nawala yung topsoil mo kasi umulan, that's soil erosion. Leaching naman is yung washing away of soluble minerals. Umulan, yung soluble materials from the topsoil bumaba, then that's leaching. And volatilization is basically kung saan yung solid or liquid material ng soil mo turns into gas and goes into the atmosphere. So there's something that is lost there, and that's volatilization. O, klaro? Itong 4 basic processes in soil formation? Klaro.